Are you stuck on knowing whether you're in ketosis or not, but don't want the hassle or expense of actually having to measure your ketone levels? In this video, I'm going to show you 9 different ways which your body tells you that you're in ketosis. I'm so glad you've landed on my channel. I share videos every Tuesday about how to live a longer, leaner, healthier life through real food, low carb nutrition. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to receive a notification when I post new videos. So measuring your blood ketone levels with something like this is definitely the most accurate way of knowing whether you're in ketosis or not. But the strips can get pretty expensive, to be honest, and no one really wants to prick their finger with one of these several times a day. Measuring urine ketones with a dipstick like these is a much cheaper alternative, but the results can be a little bit inaccurate and difficult to interpret sometimes. And whether you're just starting out on a ketogenic diet or you've been on one for a while, there are different ways which our body tells us that we're in ketosis. And whilst these things do come in useful occasionally, I think the vast majority of the time we don't really need them, and we can rely on the symptoms that I'm going to show you in this video, particularly number 9. So make sure you stick around to the end. So number 1 is keto flu. Keto flu is so called because of the flu-like symptoms that you get maybe 2-3 days after starting a very low carb ketogenic diet. So you can feel a bit headachy, a little bit tired, maybe poor concentration. To be honest, I think calling it flu is a little bit extreme. If you've ever actually had the flu, what you go through here is nothing in comparison. But it could well be the first time that your body is starting to burn fat as its primary fuel source, and it's just not used to that, and it takes a little bit of a period of adaptation. So number 2 is keto breath. Now, keto breath is a symptom you'll notice as the levels of ketones in your blood start to rise. And actually one of the ketones escapes in the form of acetone, and that is breathed out. Now, not everybody can detect that. Some people can't even smell that, but it's a very, very common symptom when you start a low carb ketogenic diet. Number 3 is digestive changes. So it's pretty common for people to have changes in their bowel habit after a few days of being on a low carb diet. Your whole body is adapting to a new way of eating, and all your bacteria within your gut have also got to adapt to that way of eating. And that means there's going to be changes. Now, some people get constipated, other people get diarrhea. It's usually pretty short-lived though. Number 4 is decreased exercise performance. If you're not really doing a lot of exercise, you might not notice this one, but if you're a regular gym goer, particularly if you're doing weights, then you'll probably notice that you won't be able to lift quite as much as you normally do, or if you're sprinting, you might not be able to do that as quickly or go as far as you normally do. So the first reason for this is you've probably burnt through your short-term energy stores. When you go on a low carbohydrate ketogenic diet, the first thing your body uses up is your short-term energy stores, which are glycogen, which is in the liver and in your muscles. And it's glycogen that your muscles normally use for real short bursts of energy, and that would be things like lifting heavy weights or sprinting. So those are the areas which you will probably notice the biggest difference in. So the second reason you might experience decreased exercise performance is because your body's just not used to burning fat and ketones as its primary energy source yet. It takes a period of adaptation for your body to get used to those new fuels, and that's going to show up in your exercise performance. And number 5 is insomnia. When you're on a ketogenic diet, up to 70% of the energy your brain is supplied with can be from ketones. And this is a very different energy source for your brain. And it's very common for people who aren't used to being on a ketogenic diet to experience insomnia. So these first 5 have been negative, but usually pretty temporary symptoms of being on a low carb ketogenic diet. They all happen during the early phases, but can be a sign that you're on the right track if being in ketosis in the longer term is your goal. You'll be pleased to know that the next 4 are very positive. And if you're already on a ketogenic diet, you're probably going to have experienced some of these symptoms. So why not drop me a comment below and let me know, did they pass? How long did it take for them to pass? And have you got any tips for other people who might be experiencing these symptoms? I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so let's move into the final 4 signs that you're in ketosis. Number 6 is a reduced appetite. So you've created the conditions in your body where you can now access your stored body fat as energy. So you're gonna be less hungry. You're getting your energy from your fat stores. This is great. This is a really positive sign. And it's very often at this point that people decide, I actually don't need breakfast anymore. And this is a really good segue into intermittent fasting. And the fact that you've got reduced hunger means that that transition to intermittent fasting can be much easier, and that's one of the reasons I often recommend people start the low carb diet before they actually start intermittent fasting. It sort of just naturally happens that way. The second reason you're probably not feeling as hungry is you're not getting the huge insulin spikes after a carb-based meal that you would have been doing, and we know that that can drive hunger forward when you get a reactive low blood glucose level. Number 7 is improved mental clarity. Now, this is one of my favorites. I love the clearness of thinking and the mental clarity that I have when I'm in a state of ketosis. It's just awesome, and it's well worth being on a ketogenic diet purely for that, if it wasn't for all the weight loss stuff. Ketones are a great source of fuel for the brain, and So number 8 is improved physical energy levels. So you're now accessing your fat as your primary store of energy, and that's giving you a much more even delivery of energy throughout the day. So you don't get those afternoon carb crash slumps anymore. Hopefully your early phase insomnia will have cleared up. Your sleep will probably be better at that point, and you will be waking up more refreshed. Often people need a little bit less sleep when they're on a ketogenic diet. And these are great signs that you're probably in ketosis. So number 9 is the big one. You're losing weight. If the reason you're on a ketogenic diet is you're trying to lose weight and you're actually losing weight, then it's really not worth bothering whether you're actually in ketosis or not. You've probably got enough evidence that you are in ketosis and you're achieving your goal of weight loss. So losing weight for me is the biggest sign that you're in ketosis, and weighing in on a regular basis, you get to know fluctuations within your body weight that tell you whether you're on the right track or not. So now you know my 9 signs that you're in ketosis. As we touched on earlier, a lot of the earlier ones are side effects of a ketogenic diet. And I've actually put together a cheat sheet about how to overcome the side effects of being on a low carb diet. A lot of the side effects are to be expected and they can be easily managed. And I don't like to see people suffering with the side effects of a ketogenic diet. And even worse, I hate it when people give up on a ketogenic diet thinking it's not for them because of what really are side effects that are to be expected and are easily managed. So I've put together a cheat sheet for you, and definitely don't be starting a ketogenic diet without getting this download. And lastly, we know that people are far more likely to succeed in their weight loss journeys if they've got support along the way. So why not join my Facebook group, where you'll meet loads of like-minded people who are trying to achieve exactly the same thing that you are. Again, the link is down below. If you've liked this video, please let me know by liking it down below. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel, new videos every Tuesday, and be sure to share this with friends and family that you think would benefit. And please drop me a comment down below if you found this video helpful, or if you've got any tips that you want to share with the community. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.